Episode 123, Ironman 70.3 Steelhead with Tim Oldenburg. Welcome to the pursuit of the perfect race. I'm Coach Terry Wilson, and with each episode, I bring stories of athletes to you that share their experiences at races in order for you to learn how to have your perfect race. We will hear stories from athletes of all ages, abilities, and races of all distances. So regardless of where you fit in, there's something in it for you. Thanks for spending some time with me today. Now let the pursuit begin. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the pursuit of the perfect race. Today I have the pleasure of talking to my friend Tim Oldenburg about his recent race experience at Ironman 70.3 Steelhead, where he had a time of 7 hours, 49 minutes, 47 seconds. This race took place on August 12th, 2018, and the temperature on race day was 63 and rose to 84, where the swim temperature was 76.4 degrees. Welcome to the show, Tim. I look forward to hearing about your race experience at Steelhead.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
Awesome. So what made you into this race, man?
Last year I got into my first triathlons, and I did a sprint and an Olympic. And then, when end of 2017, 2018 rolled around, I knew I wanted to at least do an Olympic, but I really wanted to do something bigger and more challenging. And I had friends that had been doing full and half Ironmans. So I really decided that I just wanted to, and I needed to challenge myself towards something that, a small percentage of the population has been able to complete. And I really thought I would be able to do it. And I knew if I pushed and challenged myself, I would be able to do it. So I just wanted to do something that would really challenge me.
Nice. So you're a first timer doing a 70.3 then, right?
Yeah, this was my first one.
Wow, that's awesome. So why did you pick this race out of all the other races that you could have picked?
Timing really worked out good. I've got 3 kids, so I've always got to schedule and manage around that. I wanted to give myself a good amount of time to train up for it. I looked at a few other ones. I know Muncie was another good option, but when I looked at Muncie or this one, those were like my last 2 options, my best 2 options. I decided to go with this one, just because I thought it was going to be the best. And, it did end up working out really good. So I'm glad I chose it.
Okay. Now, being that this was your first time going into the 70.3, what kind of plan were you using?
I had kind of just built and developed my own. I had a couple different training plans, like 12 and 20-week training plans sent to me, a basic and an advanced one from one of my friends. She had done a full Ironman the year before. She had also done a lot of other ones, halves and stuff like that. So I looked to her and her husband and some other friends for advice, and I kind of usually worked on about anywhere from 2 weeks to a month out on my training plan and my schedule as I was setting that up and setting goals and stuff.
Okay. Now, whenever you were going into triathlons and getting started into triathlons, did you have a background in any of the 3 sports before you got into it all?
Yeah, I definitely did. Being a U.S. Marine, I was Marine infantry for 5 years, so I kind of knew how to handle crappy situations. I was also a Marine combat instructor of water survival, so I'd gone through a 3-week hell course of being put through water survival and being an instructor for that. So I had a strong aquatic background. I was always a good runner when I was in the Marine Corps. I kind of let that go over the last few years, but over the last 2.5 years, I've kind of gotten back into it a lot more. So my background was more in swimming and running, but biking was always fun to me. But I'd say that's probably my weakest area, if you want to say that. Okay.
Now, when did you get out of the Marine Corps?
I got out of the Marine Corps in September 2010.
Okay. Wow. Just as I was getting into Afghanistan.
All right.
Yeah. So going into this race, what was your longest swim, bike, and run workouts?
Like together or just individually?
Individually.
This year I did one swim workout, or a couple swim workouts that were around 4,000 yards. I had 4 or 5 56 plus or minus a couple mile bike rides. The longest run I had actually done 2 weeks previous. I did a 30K trail run. So that is and was my longest run beforehand.
Okay. Did you have any workouts that gave you the confidence to go into this race prepared?
Yeah, I tackled about two or three really long brick workouts beforehand that I had kind of built in and planned in. One was around 4 hours, and then I had two that were like between 5.5 and 6 hours that really helped push and challenge me, but helped also prove to myself that I was getting closer to being ready, if not ready.
Okay. What were those workouts?
The first one that I had done, the first like long one was, I'm trying to remember exactly what it was. I think I did like 1,500 yard swim. It was in a pool, not open water, unfortunately. 40-mile bike, and then like a 6-mile run. And then I did two longer bike and then runs where it was like a 50-mile, 55-mile bike ride, and an 11-mile run, and then a 40-mile bike ride and the half marathon.
Okay. That sounds great. Now, were you putting a lot of stock into, with confidence related, were you putting a lot of stock into the actual workouts that you were doing, or the consistency of longer strings of workouts without missing any workouts?
It was kind of a mix. I was trying to make sure that I was working out consistently and regularly, getting myself used to being up in the morning extremely early and working out. The first couple months when I first really started to pick up my training, I was working out more in the afternoons and evenings. And then as I progressed forward, I learned and figured that the mornings were actually a lot better time to get things done. So the last like 4 months leading up to this, I at least 3 to 4 days a week started to get up between 4:30 and 5 to either go to the gym, to run, to bike. I would do that a few times a week, and then I would also plan in normally one longer workout or a brick workout in for the week.
Okay. Now, it sounds like you were doing a lot of bricks in training.
I didn't do one every week, but usually at least every other week I did one. It wasn't always a swim, bike, run. Sometimes it was just two of those pieces. I also tried to get in throughout the week as many like 2-a-day workouts as possible. So sometimes I would run in the morning and then go either swim in the afternoon or bike in the evening to really work my body through some of those fatigue situations and fighting through being sore and still being able to push myself.
Okay. Whenever we take a look at the previous 6 months of training going into this race, how much of your training was outside versus inside?
Well, being in the Chicagoland area, January and February, a lot of it was inside. I was dumb enough, crazy enough to go outside a few times, but for the most part, I really started to get a lot of early running done inside in like January and February, more February than anything. And then as it started to warm up a little bit, I got outside a lot more in March and beyond.
Okay. What was the most hours you trained 1 week?
I don't think I have a good number for that. I would have to really look back at my data through Garmin and stuff like that. I mean, probably 10 to 12 hours in a week, plus or minus a little bit. It's hard to say.
Okay. Now, if we take a look at the 12 hours, just use that as a reference, how much of that 12 hours was high intensity versus low intensity?
I usually didn't always try to have it all be high intensity. So it's still really hard to say, though. I would say usually it was more than half was high intensity, though, just because that's, I guess, what I was more used to. But I guess, what do you really mean by low intensity? What type of stuff?
Low intensity, conversational pace, easy, not hard or intervals or anything like that. Not where you're bringing the heat to it. Yeah,
I mean, I guess you could say it was a lot more high intensity than low intensity, but I did try to add those into, because trying to think ahead as much as possible to what it would be like on actual race day for me. I knew I wouldn't be pushing it that high intensity the whole time. I knew I just wouldn't have the fitness level or the energy to do that. So I knew I'd have to learn how to manage at a lower rate and a lower pace too.
Okay. Were there any days in your training process for this race where you just didn't want to train?
Oh, for sure. I mean, yeah, I mean, especially sometimes getting up 3-4 days in a row at like 5 o'clock in the morning. There's a couple days, couple times where I either missed or would delay a workout. I would regret it very shortly after and know that I had burnt and would never get back that time. But that did happen on a few occasions at least.
That makes sense. I think we all have those days, honestly.
Yeah.
Now, whenever you're not training, racing, or traveling, what are you doing?
Well, like I said, I've got 3 kids. My oldest son is 8. I've got twins that are 6 years old.
Twins?
Yeah.
Wow.
Boy and a girl. So I've got 2 boys and a girl. They're all going back to school next week. My oldest will be in 3rd grade. The youngest will be in 1st grade. So that's really exciting. I'm married. I just got remarried about 2.5 years ago. So a lot of my time when I'm not training, which has been a big part of my time over the last 6 months, especially, is around being with them and spending as much time with them. And then I also work for the American Red Cross as a aquatic specialist.
Wow. So you have an aquatic specialist, you're a husband, you're a father of 3 kids, and you're training 12 hours a week. How do you balance life, work, training, and all of these different things on your plate?
Well, that's where I found a lot more value in getting up earlier in the morning, because if I got up before everybody, I felt like I could do a whole lot more and I could get a lot more accomplished. One of the biggest sacrifices with doing that was usually sacrificing anywhere from an hour to 2 hours of sleep, which was why I didn't do it, 6 or 7 days a week. I would normally try to manage it a bit more reasonably to only do it at least 3, if not 4 times a week. But some weeks it was more. So it was challenging. I appreciate my wife and all her patience, because I know some mornings, me getting up at like 4:30 and 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm a bit of a deep sleeper, so I'd have to have a nice loud alarm that would wake both of us up. And so she gave me some scuff for that a few times, or more than a few times a week. But it made it challenging, but not impossible.
Okay. So what alarm clock do you use?
Just my iPhone. I just normally try to point the speaker right at my head, and that way I can hear it, and hadn't had any issues
Wow.
yet.
Well, I haven't touched on this yet, but I actually have an alarm clock, and I set my phone and my alarm clock in the kitchen, and that's where I set everything up. And the night before, I'll set the coffee pot, everything. So when I get up and get to the kitchen to turn off the alarm clock, the coffee's already done. My coffee cup's right there. All I gotta do is pour the coffee in the coffee cup, take my phone off the charger, and I'm ready for the day. There's really no excuses to go back to bed at that point, because you're already all the way in there. You got to turn the light on to see where the alarm clock is, and you're all the way in there. So it's like, no use in going back to bed. The door's already shut to the bedroom now, so it is what it is at that point.
Right. Yeah. I've definitely done that a few times in mornings where I know it's been challenging. I've put the phone well out of reach, so that way I have to get up to go get it.
Yeah, and because as soon as you leave the bed, it's like, it's cold out here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So whenever you started tapering down to this race to peak for your fitness for Steelhead, what did your taper look like?
I was really just cutting down my workout times and distances, the intensity. Also, the last about month leading up to the race, I was dealing with some not too significant, but some pretty decent knee pain in my left knee from just, I think, overuse and stuff like that. So I really tried to do other workouts. I started doing more swimming, some more weight training where it wouldn't put as much pressure in, just pressure, I guess you could say, on that knee. So, but that was good because it gave me time to kind of let it just relax and heal up, because I've been putting a ton of miles, and I've been focusing in June a lot on running. Right.
Now, did you get a certain pair of shoes that you knew that were going to work for you?
I've been trying out a few different ones. The 2 main ones that I had been using were the one that I actually used for this rate was the Saucony Everglide. I don't ever know if I'm saying that brand right. And then I had a pair of Hoka's. Those had been the first. I bought both of those this year. The pair that I had used last year, I had blown through those. So this year I tried to give myself more options. Now I'm actually up to 4 good pairs of shoes. I just started to break in a pair of Ultras this morning. I actually did my first run in them. So I've now got some good shoes and some good options, different cushion levels and stuff like that for different distances and pace, stuff like that.
Okay. So that's the first thought whenever you said knee pain. I was like, okay, well, let's see what kind of shoes he has. And because a lot of folks don't know that you only want to keep a pair of shoes around for about 350, 400 miles or 6 months, whichever comes first. Because the foam will just deteriorate after 6 months or around 350 to 400 miles. So that's my first thought on that.
Gotcha.
Where do you live and when did you start traveling to this race?
I live in the West Chicago suburb of Roselle, Illinois, about 45 minutes outside of Chicago. It was an extremely interesting weekend, to say the least, because I had another obligation that I had the day before. So I traveled up on Friday and I checked in on Friday pretty much right at 2:00 when they opened up, and I went to that first athlete briefing. And then I had to drive another 3 hours farther north to Traverse City because my friends were getting married on Saturday. So I actually ended up going to a wedding on Saturday, stayed for the reception for a little while, and then ended up driving back down late Saturday, and then stopping. And believe it or not, I ended up sleeping for about 4 hours in my car before the race.
Wow. So you didn't get a hotel for this race then?
No, I didn't see the benefit of only a few hours of sleep in a car versus a hotel. I mean, with some of my experiences being in infantry and stuff like that,
a car's pretty nice.
Yeah, it was comfortable enough. And I was still able to get, I think, about 3.5 hours of decent sleep.
Wow. So the night before your first 70.3, you just said, I'll just sleep in the car.
Yeah. And I had opportunities to book a hotel room, and I was going to, and then I just decided it didn't really make sense. I thought I would lose more sleep trying to get into the hotel, checked in, than I would just finding somewhere to sleep in. I've got a nice big SUV. I've got, 3 kids. So I just cleared that out. I had all my gear in there, and I made room and I slept. So wow. I adapted and made it work.
So to back up a little bit, how was the check-in process for this race?
Check-in process was pretty easy. They had some good signage up. I got there before 2, so I kind of just started walking around. I was trying to I had more water in my car, but I was seeing if there was anywhere to top off some of the water bottles that I had already pounded on the way up because I was hydrating like a madman. So I just kind of walked around. They were still setting up a lot of stuff right up until about 1:30, 2:00. But overall, the process was pretty simple. There was a decent amount of people there right at like 2:30. But I mean, I got through the check-in process in, I don't know, like 15 minutes maybe. I had my packet, my chip, my swim cap, and the swag that they gave us, like the shirt here, within like 15 minutes.
Okay. Now, as far as the village, were you like nervous or did it intimidate you being in that atmosphere?
I mean, yeah, I wouldn't say nervous. I was just anxious all in all to kind of just get to race day and just to start. So I would say a little bit of mix of nervous and just anxiety of just wanting to do it and get going. I knew what I had done. I felt like what I had done was enough, but I was just ready to put that into action.
Okay. What kind of food were you getting in the day before the race?
Let's think. The morning of, I had a pretty light breakfast, probably not the best triathlete Ironman 70.3, but just like bacon, eggs, and toast. I knew the grease probably wasn't a great idea. Ended up having a lighter lunch, and the real challenge was at the wedding reception. I didn't want to be that guy, like bringing in a bunch of my own random food. So I can't even remember exactly what they had there. I know I had some potatoes while I was there that were pretty good. And then I had a lot of different stuff that I packed a cooler. So, I mean, I was eating some fruit throughout the day. I had, I think, a Cliff Bar and a peanut butter and jelly sandwich at one point even, to kind of eat smaller meals throughout the day.
Okay. So the day before the race, you have to check your bike in.
I didn't. That wasn't mandatory to check the
Really?
bike in. It would have made things even more challenging for me, because I was weighing out my options right before the start of the race, or like the 2 weeks leading up to it. If I was going to try to check in on Saturday and then hightail it to the wedding, or if I was going to check in on Friday, hold on to my bike, do the wedding on Saturday, and come back. That's what ended up working out better. But yeah, So that made it more interesting on race morning, having to bring my bike and all my transition gear with me.
Wow. So when did you get invited to this wedding?
I think about a month after I registered for the race.
Wow.
So
you,
yeah.
Man, because I was going to be like, well, why didn't you just do Muncie? Because there was such a big conflict there.
And I even looked at that. But when I registered for the race, I think I registered for it right at the beginning of February, I want to say, or maybe end of January. I registered for it. I was like, nah, I'm not going to get the insurance or the anything like that. I'm just going to pay for it. I was like, I'm going to sign up. And when I sign up to do something, I'm going to do it. I'm not going to back out. I don't think anything will change. And I was talking to my friend in Traverse City, and he's like, oh, I think that's the same weekend that my brother and sister-in-law are going to be getting married. I was like, oh, that's cool. And he talked about coming to the race and watching me. I was like, okay, well, that'll be awesome. If you can make it, cool. If not, I understand it's going to be your brother and sister-in-law's wedding. And then lo and behold, my wife and I were friends with them too. We ended up getting invited. I wasn't sure if we were going to get invited or not, but I was like, oh, we got invited. I was like, well, this is interesting.
Wow. Now, just to kind of fast forward a little bit to the race day, you get up on race day. What's your morning ritual like in your car before you head to the transition area?
Well, I had driven down the night before. I think I kind of planned out, and I found a rest stop that was like 35 minutes away from Benton Harbor. And I figured stopping there was better than stopping and just parking in the parking lot and trying to change in the parking lot. So I stopped at that rest stop. I got in my few hours of sleep, and then I went inside, changed, kind of orientated myself, woke up a little bit, and got going. So that was how I at least initially started. I at least had a restroom to put on at least the bottom half of my tri-suit.
Okay. And were you trying to get any type of nutrition in before the race?
Yeah, let me think. I'm trying to remember. It's all such a blur now you think about it. I think I had a banana and 2 rice cakes. I had that right before, or at 4 o'clock that's what I ended up eating.
Okay. And so you woke up around 3:34-ish?
Yeah, I think I set my alarm at 3:45.
Okay. You just said it, but I didn't. So you had a banana and 2 rice cakes for breakfast. So that's probably around 300-ish calories-ish?
Yeah, give or take.
Okay. Now, are you aiming for a certain nutrition plan on the bike?
Yeah, what I ended up using for the bike and most of the run, I did have to adapt it a little bit, which we can get into since my things didn't go as planned, but I use Infinite. So I had made a custom mix to help get me through the bike and the run.
Okay. About how many calories per hour were you wanting to hit?
About 300, I think, is what my mix was, and that was my goal, to be hitting right around there.
Was that too much for you think?
I mean, I'm a little bit bigger, so I felt like that was about ideal. I mean, maybe that wasn't exactly the right thing, but that was just kind of based off what I'd been using over the last few months beforehand. And then I tweaked it and started using a little bit higher. Okay.
So you say you're a little bit bigger. What's your height and weight?
I'm 6'5", and just like plus or minus a little bit, just under 210, like between 205, 210.
Okay. So you're pretty tall.
Yeah, definitely.
Wow. And so you're 6'5", sleeping in a car the night before the race.
Yeah, it was interesting. Like I said, I got a nice size Chevy Traverse. So putting the seats all the way back, laying it as flat as it would go, I had enough leg room. I was all right.
Wow. So you get to transition. What are you doing in transition before the race?
Well, I worked on getting my bike racked and then started to just get my stuff all set up. I put a towel out. I ended up putting my shoes, glasses, the visor that I had, and my bike shoes. So I got all that stuff set up. And then essentially I just started to walk around just to try to keep my legs loose. I was stretching, I spent about 5-10 minutes stretching, and then I'd walk around a little bit more. I definitely got there plenty early. And then I was just I had at least like 45 minutes left by the time everything was set up. So I'm glad I got there early, but that also the waiting that extra like 45 minutes was building, the anticipation.
Okay. Now, were you doing any type of warm-up run or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, I jogged around a little bit, but nothing substantial. I mean, I didn't, since with everything, the few weeks with my knee the week before, it was feeling good, but I didn't want to push it and accidentally tweak something. So I was really focusing more on stretching more than anything, just to try to get loosened up as much as possible.
Okay. Did you take a leave or any type of medicine for your knee before the race?
No, I had thought about doing like a couple Tylenol or something like that. But I ended up deciding not to do that because I thought if something substantial were to happen, I didn't want it to be numbed or dulled too much to where I could potentially
hurt yourself
legitimately or seriously hurt myself. Yeah. So I decided it would be better for me to feel the pain than to not, because I knew I could fight through the pain. But if I actually hurt myself, that I didn't want to, do that.
Right, and that makes sense because in this type of situation, you want to actually get that feedback from your body of, hey, this hurts. Okay, I need to back off a little bit rather than that pain not being there.
Yeah.
So how much PSI were you putting in your wheels the morning of the race?
Both of them, I put them both right at 80 PSI. The range on them, I think, was 60 to 95, and I ended up putting it at around 80, which was what I had been doing for the most part on most of my rides.
Okay. Now, are you using race wheels? Do you have a tri bike, or what are you using?
Well, see, here's the fun / crazy thing. I mean, with having 3 kids, everything needs to be done on quite a budget. So last year I wanted to get a new bike, but I just didn't have enough money for really anything too great. So I ended up going with the Trek FX2, which is a hybrid bike. It's not even a road. It's not even a tri bike. And because that was what my budget would allow for. Some people said, well, you should have just bought used. You could have gotten a decent used road bike for that much. But after weighing out the options, I decided to just go with that one. I knew it would be more challenging, but I knew I could still get the job done. So I just went with that. So the tires that actually, they were the same tires from last year to this year. I hadn't put enough miles on them last year to where I saw it justified to invest in new wheels or tires. Also, since it's not a high level bike, I'm not going to invest a ton of money into it before I get something else, hopefully soon.
Okay. Now, with this race, it's a rolling start, right?
It was, yeah.
Okay. So where did you seat yourself at?
I seated myself right at the end of the 35 to 37 minute group, and ended up being slower than that, but that's where I seated myself.
Okay. What led you to put yourself in that group?
Normally I'm pretty consistent with swimming about a 155, 100-yard pace. So I felt that I would be pretty strong in that group and not be passed or passing too many people.
Okay. Now, had you swam in open water since the Marine Corps training?
Yeah, I had done it a few times this year. That I think was definitely one of my bigger downfalls, was that I did not get in enough open water swimming. But I've done open water swimming a lot of the Marine Corps. I did a lot. Last year I did it a few times. And then this year, this was my longest one for sure.
Okay. So you don't have any anxiety or stress from swimming in the open water?
No, I mean, I've been put in some pretty crappy situations before to where I wasn't too worried about Lake Michigan.
Gotcha. So whenever you got to where you're going to get in the corrals and all lined up with everybody, you have a mindset here of how you want to attack the race. What was this for you?
Well, for the swim, I just knew I just needed to be steady and consistent. I didn't want to waste a ton of energy, pushing out or cutting off an extra 1 or 2 minutes on the swim, because I knew that would adversely affect me on the run and or bike. So I just tried to be as consistent as possible and do a strong and steady stroke throughout. With the water being as harsh and choppy as it was, it definitely made it challenging. But I just tried to stay consistent, especially through that swim, to just finish and then work my way through that first transition.
Right. Now, I saw where this was almost like a washing machine for the swim, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I have to kind of make the connection between the Maytag sponsorship and the washing machine in the swim. So, I mean, it's kind of funny that it's like that, but did that affect your day at all?
Oh, it definitely was like that, I would have to say. I mean, with the way some of the waves, and I guess you could call them swells, the way those swells were, you'd be swimming, you'd be working on sighting to see that next buoy or something like that, and you'd go to pick your head up and the wave would be blocking your sight. So you'd have to essentially put your head back down, try to take another quick stroke or two, and then pick it back up. So I think that threw me off, just because having to put in extra work pretty consistently throughout the swim, throwing off body position and stuff like that, and just probably for me a slight lack of experience in swimming in swims like this, it definitely had a lot of effect.
Okay. So walk me through the swim course for you.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Walk me through the swim course for you.
I mean, it was, I just tried to push through it as much as possible. And I wasn't even, I hadn't counted all the buoys beforehand. So I remembered with the athletes briefing them, talking about the race course and the different colors of the buoys and the halfway mark and stuff like that, and the turn. So I just really didn't worry about, which one I was on. I just knew that I needed to keep pushing. When I saw this color, it was time to turn. When I saw this color, it was the halfway mark. And then when I saw the last red buoy, I knew I had one more turn, and it was pretty much a straight shot in.
Okay. So if you take an overlook of this swim course, what does it look like? Is it like a triangle, a rectangle? What does it look like?
It was like a rectangle, but it was like kind of going out and to the left when you swam out, and then it went across. And then when you swam back in, you kind of almost swam a little bit back towards the start. So it was like I'm not sure what type of rectangle that would be, but it was longer on the top than it was on the bottom,
Okay. So you get out of the water. You're obviously not using a wetsuit because it's so warm here. How does T1 go for you from the time you get out of the water to the time you get out on the bike?
The first transition was pretty good. You had about 150 to 200 feet of some pretty soft sand that you had to get through. So I took that at a really casual jog, just because I didn't want to. I wanted to catch my breath. I was taking off my swim cap and goggles. So I took that pretty slow, and then I finally got through to the transition area. I was a little bit more than halfway down in the transition area, so I took it at a pretty light jog. And my focus really wasn't to get through it as quick as possible. I just wanted to make sure that I remembered everything. I had a water bottle set out that I could take a couple chugs of water, and that actually had some of my nutrition in it right then. So I wasn't using the stuff on the bike quite yet. And I just focused on getting my shoes on and that they were on correctly. My glasses, my helmet. I didn't put on any sunscreen or anything like that in the first transition, and I knew there was volunteers, so I wasn't worried about that. And overall, I felt like my first transition went pretty good. I know it wasn't anywhere close to being exemplary or what the pros are doing, but I felt comfortable with what I had done, and I was able to get, I thought, in and out pretty quickly.
Right, and being that this is your first 70.3, it's an automatic PR, so you don't really have to worry about things. You just want to get to the point where you can, okay, I feel good and comfortable doing this, then master it, and then do it again. So I completely understand that. Now, with T1, were you doing anything to really prepare you to be on the bike ride for so long?
Like, what do you mean? How so?
Like, did you use any chamois cream or anything like that?
Oh, yeah. I had some Body Glide that I put that on before the swim. I pretty much put it on in some of the higher chafing areas that us guys have. And I put on a little bit beforehand. The tri-suit that I had on is a really good one that I hadn't had any real chafing issues with before. It had a cushion on the backside for my butt. So, and it's a thinner cushion, but it's definitely substantial for a 50 to 60 mile bike ride.
Okay. So this was an actual tri-kit then? Yeah,
I'd gotten one through Peaks Apparel through the triathlon team that I'm on.
Nice. What team are you on?
It's Find Your Fight endurance team. And we're also kind of indirectly partnered and part of the Mohawk Foundation. That's another charity team that's out there. So that we do a lot of stuff together and co-branded.
Nice. So how did the Peaks kit work for you?
It worked really good. Getting out in the water, it felt great. I was just able to, I just felt like it was a part of me, and I was able to swim and go. As I got onto the bike, it wicked away the moisture really quick. It was comfortable, but not like it was fitting, but not like tight. The legs felt great. I didn't have any issues with like I know I'd heard a lot of people talk about with some of the kits or tri shorts and kits out there that they get like sausage legs. I'm assuming it squeezes too tight. This one it's comfortable, secure, but it's not like overly tight. So
right.
It's a great kit.
Now with this kit, whenever you ordered it, you weren't able to really try anything on. Was what you normally expect the sizing to be what you ordered and how it fit comparable?
Yeah, it was definitely comparable. Talking with a lot of the members in the group, I kind of asked them about their experiences with tri kits in general with this company. So after talking with them, going off the size charts that the company had on their website, the size that I picked ended up working out just fine. I didn't have to make any tweaks there. It was pretty much an ideal fit. Right.
I know some triathlon apparel companies out there actually have a very poor sizing chart where you order a large and it's like it's an anorexic in China or something for a large.
Yeah.
Like you get it and you're like, I can't get this past my thighs. What's
right.
this? Like, and you're 210, almost 6'5", right? And
yeah,
so I'd assume you got an extra large?
Yeah, I got an extra large and it worked great.
Wow. Now, you get out on the bike course. How does the first few miles of the bike go?
The first few miles went great. I knew getting out there, I wasn't going to try to crush it doing like 25 miles an hour or anything crazy like that. I just wanted to get out and start to get my legs going. So I took it at, I can't even remember what pace exactly, but a pretty casual pace just to get going and open the legs up.
Okay. Did you have a strategy, whether it be power, heart rate, or cadence for the bike ride?
Really, I was just I knew in the first the first leg of the bike ride, there was some slight uphill. So my goal was to average about 16 miles an hour through that first part, and get through that first hill, that first 5-10 miles, and then open it up more as I got onto more of the flat areas.
Okay. Now, what kind of strategy did you end up having towards the later part versus the front part? Did anything change?
Well, I got thrown quite a few curveballs just after mile 15 when I got my first flat, and I was turning a corner. I had felt it. My bike was feeling weird, and I didn't connect the dots at that point. But I turned a corner where there was a local group of just residents that were cheering everybody on. They had some music going. One of the state troopers was there directing people. I made it about a half mile past them, and I was like, okay, something's really weird. And I start to look around and look down, and that's when the rest of the pressure in my tire went out. So I had to double back. I had one tube on me, and I changed it there. It took a lot longer than necessary. I made the rookie mistake of taking off my pump earlier in the week because I was like, okay, I'm not going to need this. And so big lesson learned there. Dumb lesson learned. But luckily somebody there had a pump, and I ended up changing the tire. I made it about another 2 miles down the road before that tube blew out. And needless to say, I had 4 flats for the day, all within an 7 to 8 mile distance. So if you're looking at my times on the bike ride, I didn't make it to that the first timing station at around 20 miles. Until quite a while, because I had 2 breakdowns right before that one. And then my third one was I had literally just passed over it. I was like, oh, great. I'm finally passing over the first timing spot. I'm going to get going. The people that are tracking me, they're going to probably say, what the heck is he doing? But then literally right as I passed over it, I turned the corner, passed over it, and I was on the straightaway going, and I heard the tire go again. And that was my third one. Got another 2 miles, and the fourth one. And then finally after the fourth one, the mechanic, he worked some magic. He actually ended up giving me a whole brand new tire that he had in the back of his car.
So he had helped you before?
He had helped me on the third time too.
Wow.
And they had been, because with my tires the way they were, not being a road or a triathlon bike, they did not have the appropriate tubes. So the second time, one of the support group guys helped me change my tire, and he put in one of theirs too. He didn't inflate it all the way since it wasn't big enough, or it was not big enough. and he didn't want it to pop. Unfortunately, I only made it a couple miles. The third one, he and the mechanic were there, and they actually ended up doing some other stuff to help adapt it to what they thought would help keep it from popping again. And I ended up making it only, I think, less than 3 miles, like 2.5 miles. And then finally on the fourth time, the mechanic worked some magic that ended up getting me through the rest of it.
Wow. I have yet to have somebody on the show that has had a flat during a race, much less 4.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And that definitely affected your mental status, right? Of how you perceived this race to be going at the time, right?
Oh, for sure. It weighed on me pretty heavy. I had at no point in my mind did I say, oh, I just want to quit. I'm done with this. But there was still some hesitation. I was like, is this really meant for me? Am I really going to be able to finish this? Or is it just, is somebody pointing and laughing at me right now saying, nah, you're not going to do this right now. At one point I thought I was going to get pulled off the course after the second one. Cause one of the guys in the sport vehicles in the truck is like, all right, we'll put your bike in the back. And we'll get you somewhere to see what they can do. And I was like, well, all right, well, hold on. Does that mean I'm going to get pulled from the race? Like, am I going to get a DNF? He's like, well, hold on, let me check. He called and he's like, yeah, that's what would happen. I was like, okay, well, I don't want to do that. I was like, is there any other options? Is there anything else we can do? And that's when the support guy he was actually helping somebody else literally right across the street from me. He's like, all right, well, let's wait and see what he can do. It's like, okay. Yeah. I was like, there's no way that I want to quit. I was like, I know I've added on a lot of time, but I was like, I don't want to quit. I'll keep going any way that I can. And that's when the mechanic pulled up, and he was in a VW Bug. He was actually a really great guy. He was an Army vet. So I noticed that on his plates and started talking with him on the last tire change. I was like, oh, I see you're in the military. What branch were you in? And we just started, shooting the crap right there and talking about it. I told him I was a Marine vet, and I think that's what maybe helped make him be that much nicer. I mean, he was already a really good guy, but I think he wanted to help me even further since he knew that we were both brothers.
Wow, that's awesome. Wow. How was your nutrition plan affected by the flats? Were you still trying to hit the same intervals of time, or what was that like?
Yeah, and I knew I would have to add some flexibility into there because I was still trying to take in my nutrition, still trying to drink pretty consistently, but I didn't want to blow through it at the same time. So I knew at that point I had already passed the first aid station, which I think was at like 10 miles or something like that. And I couldn't recall when the next one was. I knew it was like 20 something or like 25 or something like that. And I was only like 21 miles into the race. So I knew I would have to get something. So I did end up having to change it a little bit. I think I ended up taking a few of like the Cliff gels that helped to supplement where I didn't have enough because of all the extra time that had been added on.
Wow. So if you could judge the quality of the road for this course, how would you judge the course?
It wasn't great. There was a lot of pretty smooth areas, but there was still some pretty rough areas here and there. I did like that they seemed to do a pretty good and a pretty consistent job with marking some of the more hazardous areas. They use like orange spray paint, something like that. So they did a pretty good job of spray painting to make sure that riders knew where some stuff was coming up. But how much control do they really have over the road conditions? There was some rough areas, but it wasn't anything that I hadn't really dealt with in my training leading up to the race. But after adding on over an hour with all the flats, I was getting frustrated at that point. So I knew maybe that's just why it felt like it was a little worse than normal.
Okay. Now, being a Marine and knowing that you've been tested with the Crucible in boot camp, did you think of the challenges that you were going through here in comparison to that at any point?
Not really. It definitely sucked. But really what I was thinking ahead to was that the run is really going to stink because I knew with as much time as I was adding on, it was only getting warmer. My nutrition had been thrown off a little bit. I kept it pretty consistent. I thought I was taking in a pretty good amount. But I knew my challenge would just be like mentally, I would just need to suck it up and get over it.
Right. Now, as far as the bike goes, is there anything you would tell someone to be aware of that hasn't done this bike course before?
I mean, just like any race, just in general, I mean, you just got to stay consistent and go in with a plan. Don't go out too fast, because, going out steady is going to help you in the long run just to be stronger and have a stronger finish. So, if I wouldn't have had the breakdowns that I did have, I think I would have had a really good time. I started off a little bit slower intentionally, but still at a good pace, with the intention to finish powerful and strong, because I knew there was that 20-mile stretch of road that a good chunk of it was downhill, where I knew I'd be able to get a lot of good time.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, whenever you started getting to transition to you're about 2 miles out, are you doing anything to start preparing you to start running?
Yeah, what I had done about 3 to 4 miles out, not the entire time, was that I would stand up and take, 5 to 7 pedals on the bike, and then stand and kind of just coast for a little bit, let the blood in my legs kind of settle. And I did that, usually for about 30 seconds, because I knew I'd lose a little bit of time by doing that. But I would do that 7 to 10 pedals, and then get back down, keep going again consistently. And I think that helped me get my legs ready for the run. Okay.
Now you get to T2, you're finally able to get off the bike. Finally. How was this for you? How did T2 go for you?
T2, I knew, and I figured it would be a little bit longer, because I knew from the fatigue, especially after getting it through my mind, that I had to fight to beat that 5:30 cutoff. Because I had taken so much time. I'd done the swim in like 47 minutes, so I had some extra time built in there. But then, as I was getting back on my bike after my last flat, or what I was hoping was my last flat and what ended up being my last flat, I knew I would have to do a good pace to get in under the cutoff. So really, once I got into that second transition, I was happy that I'd gotten there under the 5:30 mark. I think I had maybe 7 or 8 minutes to spare, so it really wasn't a lot. And my focus in the second transition was kind of like the first one, but really to make sure that I took my time, get everything done that I wanted to get done. I had calf compressions that I wanted to put on. I had a support for my left knee that I had planned to wear, and then just making sure that my shoes were not too tight, but tight enough. I had speed laces in them that I'd been really used to, but I just wanted to make sure that I got everything ready, got my visor on, got my belt and stuff like that.
Okay. Now, how did the first few miles of the run go for you?
They were pretty good, pretty consistent. I probably went out about 30 seconds faster than I should have, which I definitely paid for in the long run.
Really?
Yeah. And this was really something that I knew, but I was just happy to be on the run. I was happy that I had made it to that point, because I knew once I made it to the run, I knew I would push myself and I knew I would finish. As much as doing a half marathon after going through the different challenges that I had beforehand I knew once I got on my feet, I knew I could finish. So I went out a little bit faster than I probably should have by about 30 seconds per mile. But I knew that I could keep going. And the challenge was that I knew if I just kept going and I had people around me, I could use them to help pace me and motivate me. So it still ended up working out.
Okay. Now, did you have a strategy before the race started of how you wanted to attack the run?
Just to keep moving as much as possible. I also told myself that, walking isn't the enemy. If I needed to walk, then to walk. I mean, just to catch my breath, to lower my heart rate, to take in some nutrition and or hydration. So that was really my plan, was to just keep going. Don't linger in aid stations. If I needed water, get water, but keep moving as much as possible.
Okay. Well, I asked that because what I normally have at least first timers do is walk for the first 2 minutes out of transition, get the heart rate down, get things ready to just start running And then by the time you get past that 2 minutes, you've usually passed the crowds a little bit, and you can actually say, okay, I have 13 miles I have to run right now. My legs, I need to check in with my legs and actually objectively see, okay, are they hurting? Am I feeling pretty good? And by that time, the heart rates come down, and then you can ease into your pace rather than over-pacing like you did. And
Yeah.
I feel like that strategy works pretty well for a lot of people, but it might not be for you.
Yeah, and I once I got all my stuff on in transition, I did have from where my bike and my gear was set up in transition, I had a decent walk to the actual start of the run. So at that point, I was working on the watch I have it's a Garmin Vivo Active HR, so it doesn't have like the multi-sport setting. So I had to kind of mimic the swim by just setting it to run. And I did that more for timing purposes on my own, for my own part. And then for bike, I just did the bike setting. And then for run, as I was getting out of the second transition, I was kind of just taking a second to get the bike going or get the run going. And then normally when I do the run, there's a second screen that I like to go to that gives me the individual lap time rather than the overall time, because I feel like from a mental standpoint, it helps me work on shorter term goals rather than looking at, oh my gosh, I've been running for an hour and a half. I can just look at, this mile, it's taking me 10 and a half. It's going to take me 10 and a half minutes if I keep this current pace.
Gotcha. So on the run, what was your nutrition plan?
I brought a bottle with me that had infinite nutrition in it. But then I had also, since I'm a Marine, and I don't know if I know a lot of Marines are like this, but we like to adapt our own equipment. So I had a smaller Nathan's handheld that had like an 8-ounce bottle and a little pouch. I had taken that 8-ounce bottle off and made it work to where the polar, these type of bottles, the polar bottles, I had made one of those fit in there, and it fit actually really good. So I had a 24-ounce bottle with a little pouch. I had a couple gels in there that were like my backup gels. And then I had also put two, I'm trying to remember what brand they were. I think they were the Cliff, like 100 milligram caffeine gels. I had one on each side of my racing belt. So my plan was to keep those as kind of like, if in case it hits the fan, I'll have this stuff ready. I didn't end up using the gels in my pouch, but I did end up using both of the 100 milligram gels. I think at like 4 miles and then at like 7.5 miles. Okay.
So how was this run course? Was there a lot of support out there? Was there a lot of crowds out there? Was there a lot of athletes out there?
Yeah, there was definitely a lot of support out there. There was a decent amount of spectators, but definitely a really good amount of support. I mean, the aid stations, it was a loop course. So you ran up, I think the first 2 miles, was just part of the first leg where you're getting out of the transition area and stuff like that. And then you've got 2 loops that you did that were like 3 to just over 6 miles. And then you went into the second loop. And by the time you were done with that second loop, you were at, I want to say about 10.5 miles, and you had your last 2.5 miles to get home. So along that loop, there was 3 aid stations. So within like less than 5 miles, you had 3 aid stations. So it was pretty good. Each aid station had a ton of stuff: water, Gatorade, Coke, Red Bull, the Cliff Energy gels, the chews, fruit. They had people giving out ice. So that was nice to have somebody chucking ice down my tri-suit. I had that done a couple times to help me cool down and relax.
Okay. As far as the aid stations and what you actually used from the aid stations, what did you take in?
Most of the time, I got not every single one, but I would get some ice either down the front and or the back of my tri-suit to help cool off. And then I had brought an extra bag of the infinite nutrition to put into my bottle, but to save time, I ended up not doing that because just with the way everything had kind of changed, I just told myself I wasn't going to do that. So I went through the first bottle of my nutrition there within probably a little bit over an hour. It was supposed to last about an hour. And then I just ended up having them, as I went through the aid station, I would have them add some water to it as much as I could get as I was kind of walking, or as I was walking up, I'd say, hey, can you fill me up, please? And they would fill me up. So for the most part, I took only water when I went through. I think I took a couple of gels just to have as backups. And then on the very last 2 aid stations, I ended up taking 2 quick swigs of Red Bull.
Wow.
Just to give me that last kick.
So how did the Red Bull work out for you?
I'd say it worked because, I mean, my last 2 miles was my plan, and my goal was to run every step of my last 2 miles. And I know at least the very last mile I ran every step because I think it was just more the motivation that I was almost done. But it was nice that it was also pretty much downhill. The second to last mile was mostly downhill. So I ran most of that. And I think at that point, the Red Bull had kicked in from about 15 minutes prior to that.
Okay. Now, did you have any Sherpas out there helping support you?
Unfortunately, no. This was pretty much, it was just me there by myself. Nobody else was able to make it. There was other people there from my team that were part of the Mohawk Foundation charity team. But we hadn't really set up anything. A lot of them were racing, so I wasn't really worried about or going to concern anybody with asking for help or anything like that. So I was just there pretty much on my own.
Okay. Now, as far as how hard this race was for you, was this mentally pretty tough for you, or was this kind of walk in the park for you mentally?
It was definitely challenging, and if it wouldn't have been for the flat tires, I don't think it would have been as challenging, but it still would have been a challenge for sure.
Okay. So in the miles of, say, 7 to 10, where was your headspace at?
It was pretty challenging, especially right around, I want to say, mile 9. You were getting out of, it was on the second lap, we were getting out of the Whirlpool area, one of their company areas. I just passed the second to last aid station, and then it was one of the last uphills. So right around that 7 to 10 miles, it definitely got tough. But really, it wasn't that tough until I got to that like 9 mile something point where it was like a quarter mile stretch that was a pretty decent uphill. But I knew once I got uphill, it would flatten out and then drop. The funny thing that I'm interested to see will be the pictures that come out of this. Cause I remember I ran to the hill. I ran about a quarter of the way up, and I was like, all right, I'm just going to walk and take it. That's fine. And then as I was getting up to the top, I was like, oh, there's a cameraman up here. I was like, I'm going to keep going. And I ended up doing the like Dick Van Dyke, clicking your heels in the air and giving like a thumbs up or a hang loose.
That's awesome.
So I'm interested to see if that turns out. I'm surprised I had the energy. But I told myself throughout the entire thing, especially after all the craziness that happened on the bike course, I was like, if I don't stay positive on this, it's only going to get worse. So every time I saw somebody, I thanked them. I told them how much I appreciated them. When I saw the camera guys, I tried to give a thumbs up, show that I was actually having I paid for it, so I should have a good time. So I tried to I think that's what helped me too, was just staying positive as much as possible.
Did you get a red bracelet whenever you checked into the race?
Yeah, I did. And I ended up giving it to, which I was hoping would only be the only time I needed it, the first guy that helped me, or actually on my second flat, because the first person that helped me on my first flat was one of a local guy that was just there on the corner cheering people on. The second time was one of the support teams, and I shook his hand. I told him how much I appreciated him. I was like, here, I want to give you guys this. I was like, I'm sorry, I wish I had 2. I'd give both of you 1. I was like, but I really appreciate your help. I hope I don't see you again. Go 2.5 miles and I see him again. So, and the funny thing was I ended up seeing him, I think about like 45 miles into the race. He was helping somebody, and I forget what I said. I was like, hey, I'm still going. I yelled it and I just kept going. And he said some positive words of encouragement. And I also ended up seeing him like less than a minute after I crossed the line. He's like, hey, you made it. You finished. I was like, at that point I was like half emotional, trying to be a Marine and not like tear up or anything, but I was still like, man, this day sucked. But I was like, yeah, I really appreciate how much you helped me. I literally could not have done this and finished without your help.
Wow. And you never even met this guy before the race day, and you probably haven't talked to him after. And it's just that one little bit of connection and that one little bit of their time in their life where you needed somebody and he was there.
Right. Yep. Exactly.
Wow.
Awesome.
So the last 800 yards of the run, the barricades start lining the road or grassy area. How was this finish area for you?
It was good. I mean, there was a couple other runners coming up. It was like a sense of relief. There was people that were lining there. I high-fived a little kid, like 4 or 5-year-old boy, high-fived a few other people. And it was just like a sense of pride, a sense of relief. I was just happy to be able to know that I was going to be crossing that finish line there in the next like 30 seconds to a minute. I heard him announcing people's names. And then as I got closer, I heard him announce my name and I was able to cross, and it was just awesome.
Wow. So after you crossed the finish line, what did you do next?
Well, I got the medal, I got my hat. And then I went and they had like a picture area where I went and got my picture taken. And then right after that was when I ran into the support team gentleman and I talked to him for like 30 seconds to a minute. And then I just went back into transition and just like the realization of, okay, I'm finally done. I can relax a little bit, set in. And I just went and I just sat down by my bike, was drinking the bottle of the boxed water that they had given me. Probably should have taken like 5 of those with me because I was so darn thirsty. But I went and sat by my bike. I was talking to other triathletes that were right around me, asking them, hey, how'd your race go? So at that point, I was just talking with people. I probably had a dumb smile on my face, but I couldn't help it,
Wow. So how was your recovery process looking back on it?
I guess I'm still kind of in it the day of, I just relaxed. I tried to stretch a little bit, but especially, I didn't even mention it to this point, the last like 3 miles, I did have to fight through some cramps, which I think I probably wouldn't have had it without the delay because just the added time on my feet, I think took a toll on me. So I tried to get those. The one rookie mistake that I made, or one of quite a few, was that I didn't bring a roller with me. So I saw people with rollers and I was like, yep, I forgot my roller. So I tried to give my quads, my legs a good massage with my hands as much as possible to try to just work those out. And I ended up just sitting for a while because my wife hadn't had a chance to leave and she wasn't in the area yet. So she's like, all right, well, we were both driving back home to Chicago. She was finishing up at the wedding and stuff like that. So she's like, all right, well, let's meet there and we'll get some dinner or something. And luckily this was at like 3:00. So I was like, all right, I've got a couple hours. I was like, I'm not going to rush. I'm going to pack up my stuff. And then I ended up going to get, I think I had like a piece and a half of pizza, and I put my head down on the table for a little bit just to relax. Had about 7 people asking me if I'm all right. And I was like, no, I'm fine. I'm exhausted.
Wow. Now, what's something that you learned from your experience here at Steelhead that you'd want to pass on to someone else that's doing this race in the future? Putting as much hard work and dedication into training beforehand is definitely key. You've got to be willing to put in the time and the energy for it to pay off on race day. Doing proper maintenance on your bike. I don't know if that was the issue or if it was just a freak accident that, took out my tire the first time. And I looked it over, I checked it over. I thought it was good. I had maintenance done on it. But making sure your equipment is ready to go is obviously key. Because if that, for the bike, you have to have a properly functioning bike to get you through that successfully. So just training, planning, and preparation. Okay. Looking back on it, how well prepared for this race do you think you were?
Decently well prepared. I think training-wise, I was pretty good. But there's definitely, I think, just more that I could put into it to get better times in all of the areas. I'm looking forward to doing either this specific race again next year or another 70.3. There's a couple options I'm looking at.
Nice. What options?
I'm excited that they're opening up Traverse City for next year because my friend lives there. That's where I was for the wedding the day before this one. So he has never done a triathlon. I'm trying to talk him into this one, and he's like, yeah, I'll totally do it. And I'm like, all right, this is a weekend that would definitely work for me. I was like, we need to do this. So I'm trying to help him with reasons to do it rather than excuses not to do it. But I think that it's either that one, or Steelhead again. Steelhead would work for my schedule next year. I know that they're moving it to the end of June, like June 30th, I want to say, is what I heard or what I was told.
I wonder why. Do they want it to be hotter?
I think it's just because they don't want them to be so close together. Because if they did Steelhead like the second weekend in August and then Traverse City the last weekend or fourth weekend in August, that's too close. People are going to be split and probably just wouldn't have as much attendance, is what I would think.
Have you heard about the Michigan Titanium?
Yes, and that's another option I'm looking at. That's one that the founder of the Mohawk Foundation charity team, he wants a lot of us to go to either Grand Rapids or do one of the Mai Tais, either the half or the full. So that's another option. I think Grand Rapids, I don't think I could do one of those. That's just a weekend that wouldn't work for me. And I forget what weekend the Mai Tai, the full and the half are on then. So I've got like three options. I'm going to at least do one half next year. If I can make Steelhead and Traverse City work, I would like to do both, because I'd like to, get some redemption on Steelhead to actually give it my full effort and be able to do it justice.
Right. Now, to kind of ask, why would you want to race with a bigger organization like Ironman versus one of the smaller ones? Like, I really believe in supporting the local races when I can. So I'm really trying to find people that are doing the Michigan Titanium to have them on here. And I think that's a well-run machine up there, because it's a smaller race that not too many people know about, and it's organized pretty well, right?
It sounds like it. It does sound like it's a great opportunity. And really, I don't have a preference, a bias, or anything like that towards Ironman indoor local. And I would agree with you. I think supporting the local brands and stuff like that in local communities is probably, typically better. The reason I just gone with this one in the first place was just because it worked out with my schedule. And I do think there are a lot of benefits to these Ironman races with how well they're put on, how well they're supported. So I think even though they do cost a few more bucks, I think it definitely can be worth it just because of the amount of support that you get during the race. I think that is extremely valuable.
Right. Now, what's next for you?
Well, actually, here in a little less than 6 weeks, I've got my first marathon coming up.
Really?
So, yeah, that's
one?
the Marine mentality in me. I'm doing the Quad City Marathon in Moline on September 23rd. So it was literally 6 weeks from Ironman Steelhead. So that'll be coming up here shortly, little bit more than a month. And that will finish up this year. I was looking at a 50K, but I've decided not to do that because that was going to be 2 weeks after the marathon. And I decided that I should probably give my wife some time so we can go have some fun and take some trips and stuff like that. So instead of me doing a 50K, we're going to go to Grand Rapids for the Thomas Rhett concert that weekend. So that'll be fun. And yeah, so just a marathon to wrap up this year. It'll be my first marathon, so I'm excited for that.
Wow. So you're trying to build up to a full, it sounds like.
I don't think I have the money to afford the investment that's needed for a full. So 2019, I don't think I'm going to do a full. I think I'm going to do one or two half Ironmans, at least one. And then I want to do either probably both a 50-mile run and a 100K run.
Wow.
But locations for those are to be determined. I've got some options that I'm looking at. Right.
And a lot of people don't know that there's 50 and 100Ks quite a lot. They're more popular than a lot of people think.
There's a decent amount. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, how could Ironman have made your race experience better?
Well, that's a good question. I think more space in transition would have been better. But when you think about how many athletes that there were there doing it, having the size space that you need to even add a few inches on the side of each person for their, for their gear and transition, for their bike and transition. That would just make the transition area just even that much bigger. And it was already huge. I think that would be something that would be great. Aside from that, I can't really say. I mean, it was a good experience for me. And since it was my first one, I don't really have anything to gauge it off of. So I can't say that, this one was better than this one because of this reason. Overall, it was a good experience. The roads could have been a little bit better on the race, but really what control do they have over that other than adjusting the route? And they weren't terrible. They marked off the bad spots for the most part. Aside from that, I can't think of anything else, honestly.
Okay. Well, we covered quite a bit. Do you have anything else you'd like to add about your race?
No, I mean, it was just a great experience. I'm really glad that I did it. As fun, quote unquote, as it is to do something like this, it's always interesting to talk to people and tell people that I was doing this. And now I get to tell people that I've done it, and they're like, they give you that, "Are you crazy?" look. But to me, I always like to challenge myself. And I feel like if I've got a goal or an objective out there to push myself towards it, it keeps me moving and it keeps me active, which is what I need, because when I got out of the Marine Corps, I kind of was like, all right, I just need a break. I can't do this. And I ended up putting on like 30, 40 pounds. So over the last 4 years, I topped out at 255, I think in 2014. And now I'm down to between 205 and 210, depending on carb loading and water weight and good stuff like that. So a 50 pound weight difference, it feels a lot better. I feel more energetic, more active. So doing that has been really helpful.
Good. Now, on a scale of 1 to 10, how logistically complicated was this race for you?
I would say probably about an 8. I mean, it was definitely complicated, but having resources with friends, with, our lovely internet, with Google, you can find out and you can learn a lot through resources like that. I think being more prepared with a more set training plan would have helped me be more prepared. With a coach might have been a good option. So that's something I'll be looking at in the future to see how I can fit that into my budget financially. But I think those are probably the two biggest things, is just having more help and more assistance would be good to help push me forward to be even more prepared. Okay.
So I only have 2 more questions for you, and that's, what's on your bucket list?
Well, this year is to do that marathon. And that's the first one, at least that's the last one really for this year. Doing the Ironman 70.3 was a bucket list item for me. Long term, and when I say long term, I really mean probably 2020. I would like to do at least one full Ironman. So I will do that. And I've had 6, 7 different people, if not more, ask me, "Oh, so you're doing a full Ironman now next year?" And if I could go out and buy even a bottom of the line but still decent triathlon bike, I would probably do one next year. But since I don't see that as being feasible for next year, I don't think I'll do one next year. So my bucket list items for next year is going to be that 50 miler and then possibly even a 100K run.
Wow. Well, Tim, I just want to thank you so much for coming on today and spending some time with me. And I only have one more question for you, and it's the same that I ask everybody, and that's, what's your definition of a perfect race?
Definition of a perfect race? That's a good question. I mean, I think it's just one where you're able to get through it and finish under your goal. No matter what goal that is, you're able to finish on your time or under it. You feel comfortable throughout the entire race. And I use comfortable loosely because if you're doing this at an appropriate pace, it's going to be uncomfortable at some points. You're going to elevate that heart rate. So, I mean, the perfect race is just one where you achieve what you set out to achieve and you do what you want to do.
Okay. Well, that's awesome. Tim, thank you again for coming on. And I just want to say welcome to the endurance sport of triathlon. And we're all glad to have you a part of what we all do for fun. And thank you for joining us and being a part of us. It's awesome to have you here.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. This was a good experience being on with you too. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. You have a good day, and we'll talk soon, okay?
All right, thanks.
Thanks for tuning in today. I hope you were able to learn something from today's episode. If you enjoyed the show, please take a minute to leave a review on iTunes or share it with a friend. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. If you'd like to see pictures from this athlete's race, learn more about who I am, what I'm doing, or be on the show yourself to share your story, check out my website at CoachTerryWilson.com. Until next time, continue the pursuit.